Thank you, everybody, for coming today. My name is Derek Quick. I run a fund called Brave Soldier Ventures. We are in the tech space, so we work with startup companies, invest in them, and help to build them up to commercial scale. I've been working with startups since the late 90s, so I've been doing this for a long time now, and one of my personal passions is to help entrepreneurs develop their businesses. And that's actually the thing that I want to talk about is passion. Because everybody that comes up on stage and has a business idea, they're talking about themselves as being an entrepreneur. But one of the biggest qualities that an entrepreneur must have every day when they wake up and do their business is to have a passion in what they do, right? So you have to get up every morning with a sense of purpose on how to move your business idea forward. And I think that's the thing that I look for when I meet with people, when I meet with companies. The thing I look for is, of course, the business or the service that you're pitching is very important, but if I don't see that passion in your eyes, if I don't see the passion in your presentation, then it becomes less interesting to me. So when you're up on stage and you're giving a presentation, don't think about it as a presentation, think about it as telling a story. Why? Because everybody wants to hear a story, but not everybody wants to hear a lecture. Not everybody wants to hear a presentation, right? So always make sure it's engaging. You have to interact with the audience. You have to put as many touch points into the audience as you can to get them to feel the energy, to feel the passion in your project. And that is much more important because every business will always have its ups and downs. No matter how well thought out your business plan is, no matter how well thought out your business model is, there's always going to be a problem that you did not see coming. Right? So a very famous boxer, Mike Tyson, once said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. And it's very true. You can plan for everything, but there's always going to be something that's going to come along that you didn't see, and you have to be flexible, you have to be quick to react, and you have to be able to get up, brush your knees off and keep moving forward. I think that's the biggest thing about being an entrepreneur is never quitting, always moving forward, and never giving in, always believing in yourself, because everybody around you will tell you, why are you doing this? Why don't you do the normal job like everybody else? But obviously you have this belief that whatever your product or service is going to work. And you need to instill that in your audience. You need to instill that with your investors, with your advisors, with anybody that you talk to. You always have to be selling that idea to someone, whether it's selling it to an investor so you can get funding in, selling it to a customer, selling it to your suppliers. You have to get people to engage. You have to get them to believe in what you're doing. So I think that is one of the most important things that all of you have to have as entrepreneurs, is to have that passion. You have to have that fire, and you have to be able to communicate that outwards. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Derek. Welcome our company to Chrome.
Testing. Yeah. So my name is Koen, and I'm the co-founder of Grom. And my company is a 500 startup company that makes software that allows retailers, regardless of size, to sell mass customized products, right? So we already have over 10 partners, and we're growing. We have a signed contract right now with the biggest retailer in the world. They have already soft launched. We have licensing deals with companies like Universal, Disney, partnership with Amazon, Overstock, and several more licensing deals in the pipeline, for example, with companies like Diesel, Adidas, and OnePlus. We've been in stealth mode till Q3 of 2015, and we have generated $1.1 million Hong Kong dollars revenue to date. And right now, as of today, we already have contract value of 3.8 million Hong Kong dollars for 2016, and we're still closing partnerships as we speak. And on our products right now, we have up to 43% margin. So what is the problem we're facing? Retailers today, they cannot keep up with the changing trends that are happening in the consumer market. So right now, as I'm speaking, probably 3, 10, 15 trends have started, but retailers cannot capitalize on this simply because they're stuck with 3 main problems. It takes 6 to 12 months to get an idea from the initial stage to an actual physical product on the shelf. Secondly, if you would go into all these trends, you would have huge inventory overhead costs, right? Companies like Amazon that are doing this are spending over $26 billion in 1 year to be able to offer all these products. I don't know who of you has $26 billion here, but come and see me if you do. And finally, when you want a new product to come to market, you have to do over 10,000 units to make economies of scale work for a new product, right? So what do? We make a digital showroom or a software infrastructure which allows any retailer to offer trending products continuously. So how do we do that? First of all, when a new product iteration comes up, for example like smartphone, headphones, etc., it takes us 1 to 2 clicks to create a product iteration, which means right now, online, there can be a trend going on, 30,000 hashtags. 2 hours later, we can have a product in our digital showroom in any retailer website, anywhere in the world. Secondly, because we make all our products on demand, because otherwise you cannot make products customized, right? There is no, or near to zero inventory costs. And finally, again, because it's on demand, we have minimum order quantity of 1 unit, but actually we can make 200,000 units, all customized for everyone. So I can make a phone case headset for every single person in this room right now, individual with your name on it, with your design on it, etc. So for example, what is a digital showroom? This is a digital showroom. This is, for example, this is based on our licensing deal with Universal. So we installed this as an iframe into a retailer website, and you can add text, choose color, and mix and match with designs, choose phone models. But the interesting thing is, right, everybody's thinking here, oh, you know, a phone case. Well, actually, you can do this with any product. So we add a headset, for example, with our licensing deal with Adidas. You can choose a design, you can add a text, and upload it to any retailer. So we go up to a company like the biggest retailer in the world, and we say, hey, why don't you add a product to your line right now? And they come to us, oh, you know, it's going to be cost, it's going to be complicated. And we say, you don't have to do anything. We just upload it. Super easy, right? So this is how it works. So I just showed you what the digital showroom is, right? So what happens is somebody orders in the digital showroom, and then it goes to our global just-in-time or on-demand production network. So we have 3D printing partners in China, Europe, and the US. So depending on where you're buying from which retailer, so for example, Amazon in America, we will print locally for you, right? So we don't have to ship everything everywhere. And then our mass manufacturing base, because part of our product is still mass manufactured, for us to scale it like into the hundreds of thousands and millions, is made in China, but we store it in bulk locally as well. And then after that, which I personally think is the coolest part, is that whenever we sell a product, right, we can see, hey, this is not working, this is working. So for example, you have on your web shop 30 products, 20 are selling, 10 are not selling. We take those 10 out, no inventory, and we add product iterations that are similar to the 20 you're already selling. And the future of that is that we can actually look at trends online and start creating products that are in line with the trends that are going on right now. 30,000 hashtags, boom, design online. So this is our business model. It's very simple, a B2B2C company, transactional model. So we charge a wholesale price to a retailer and they sell it to their consumers. So we don't have to do any marketing. We don't have to do, well, we have to do sales, we have to get in a retailer. So they do everything for us. So where we're going to be in 2020 is that we're going to have 6, today we have already 11 partnerships going for us. Next year we'll have 50. And in 2020 we'll have 600, divided between retailers and brands. We have 9,500 points of sale across Europe, the US, and China. We'll be selling 16 million units across 10 different verticals, so we're on our number 2 almost right now, with a wholesale price of 93 to 450 Hong Kong dollars, with up to 43% margin. And that means by the end of 2020, we'll have contract values up to $1.63 billion. So just to show you our current product, I already whipped it out, but currently with our pilot product, our smartphone case is part of an $81 billion total market. Our total addressable market is about $24.8 billion based on the market localization and the specific personalized market that we are penetrating. And for the next, let's say the first 3 products will be in the mobile accessory space, which is a total market of $395 billion, growing 5.9% year over year. But actually, I have rings there, I have sunglasses there. If any of you own a factory, we can make your product as well customized. So that's how easy it is. We're not stuck to a singular market. So this is our team. I myself have been actually living in Asia for 7 years, working on 3D printing and mass manufacturing and being with the technology together for the last 4 years. My co-founder, who actually lives in Silicon Valley in San Francisco, has been in e-commerce and retail for over 12 years, generating over $968 million Hong Kong dollars, sorry, in revenue along retailers in Europe primarily. Our CTO has been in developing for over 20 years. He's a serial entrepreneur and has had exits for $1.4 billion, Hong Kong dollars, I keep messing it up. And finally, our product developer has been making products with the likes of Lockheed Martin and Walt Disney for the last 6 years. So to summarize, Grom makes software that allows mass customization for retails. Right now, for 2016, we already have 3.8 million Hong Kong dollars in booked revenue, with up to 43% margins, and we're already working with the largest retailers in the world. So if you have any questions, please come and see me or us, because my colleague from San Francisco is also here, and we'd love to answer it. Thank you.
Thanks, Cole. Before hearing comments from our judges, regardless of money, any of you would like to invest on Chrome?
Well, let's just say not invest, just use the service or would want to partner with them as a business partner. Okay? Could you just ask anyone in terms of how the reaction is? So Grom, take a look at your supporters already.
I'm Lilian. I'm a product designer. I have my own firm. And also, I think the idea is very great. The point is we need to build up a big products for big quantities. But I just want to ask how to execute, because we have always faced a problem if you have to get a tailor-made. So this is the most difficult point for serves the consumer's requirement.
Could you repeat the question one more time, because I want to answer
How
it
to
right.
execute it? Because in your presentation you say you have the customer can place orders and with different designs, but maybe each design will have a small amount of orders. How to execute?
So how it works is that first of all, like the generation of our designs is all done automatically. So we have the standard designs that we upload, and anybody can customize them. We don't do anything. We just send it to our production. And then the question about how do you do the unit count? We don't have a minimum order quantity because all the design parts. So the example here, the red part of my phone case is 3D printed, and the outside is mass manufactured. So if you have one design, you have one design, you have one design, it doesn't matter for us because we can print any different one. So there's one. The minimum order quantity is 1. So we don't have that problem. And with our global network, we can ship our product within 1 to 6 days actually, so very quickly as well. If that answers your question.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Jing?
Thanks for the presentation. I think you delivered a very clear story. I have one, so everything is 3D, not everything, so every product you're selling right now basically is a combination of like a standard product plus 3D printed, right?
Exactly, yes.
Okay. But how, how does that translate into this, like you call it supply chain transformation?
That is, okay.
In that part, I didn't really get the idea of like what does it mean supply chain transformation. It's like where.
Yeah, no, I think somebody sent you an old presentation, but it doesn't really matter, I can explain it anyway.
Okay.
So the whole point of it is that our company essentially, the traditional supply chain of retailers and producers is that they produce products in bulk, right? So you create 10,000 standardized products that are shipped to distributors that goes to retailers, right? So supply chain transformation actually means is that we don't follow that model at all because we are creating individual products for individual consumers and we ship them directly, we drop ship them to customers. So the transformation of supply chain means that we're moving away from mass manufacturing. We're moving away from having to create 100,000 products for every single product we use. And we do very slow, like low quantity manufacturing. So that's why it's transformation. But I think the presentation you have right now in front of you is not the presentation I just gave, but
Yeah,
that's fine.
It's okay. I'm just curious about this. Okay. Anyway. So how much money are you raising?
We're actually raising in January and February. We've raised 2.1 million Hong Kong dollars to date.
Okay.
And we've raised 800,000 Hong Kong dollars. Oh, actually, no, wait, I have to change it. We've raised 900,000 Hong Kong dollars in our current round. So we're raising convertible security, standard KSA 500 startup document. That's what, but I'll tell you in person more about that. But yes,
It's okay. So you said you're not raising right now, right?
No, we are talking to people right now
Okay.
and looking to actually have serious conversations after everybody's back from holiday in January.
Okay.
Thanks, Jane. Thanks very much for the presentation. I thought it was a very clear story. I thought you were very confident. One slight issue I had with you, you talked about a signed agreement with the biggest retailer in the world. Why are you not telling me the name of that biggest retailer in the world?
Because we're not contractually allowed. So we actually, there's very simple reason. So we soft launch with them.
Okay.
But as long as we're not hard launch with them, we're not allowed to say anything because companies like that will just, if that video is on and I actually say literally who it is, then I'll get sued for it. So I cannot say that.
Okay. I knew that. I was just checking.
Thank you for checking.
Okay. Yeah, they're very sensitive, aren't they? But I did like, you did drop a lot of names. I appreciated that, Diesel, Adidas, and so on. You talked about the business model, and you talked about how retailers can't keep up with new trends. But also, isn't it the fact that retailers are also now changing their business models? And also, aren't we just talking about smartphone cases? Is that what we're talking about here?
So your first question is about the trends, right? Yes, they are changing, but right now with the traditional models they're using, they don't have the capacity to essentially adjust as quickly as we do, right?
Yeah.
So in the end of the day, when retailers, so I talk about 6 to 12 months, but I can also say if a seller goes up to a retailer and says, hey, we have this product, it's really cool, it might be 1 or 2 months, right? But they are standardized products. So right now the infrastructure they use, which is mass manufacturing and economies of scale, they cannot do what we do. So they are speeding up, I agree, but not to the level that we do. So I think that was the first question. Your second question was?
Aren't you guys just a smartphone case manufacturer?
So no, because how it works with us, first of all, we launched our first product and it didn't exist. So we actually had to build our own product. I went to like 100 factories in China over a period of 1.5 years to get it together. But now that we've shown that our pilot product actually works, what we do now is that we go to OEM companies, right? For example, I was in San Francisco talking to Foxlink, for example. And we say to them, hey, you are doing Beats by Dre, why don't we partner up? And you already have the mass manufacturing settled, right? We can add these components that are 3D printed, and we can just upload it into our supply chain software. So if we would build, I think that will apply, if we would build 10 products within 5 years, that means I'm nuts, or I have an amazingly big team because it's very hard. But the model we have is that we use the expertise of existing mass manufacturing companies in China, and we just add our software knowledge to it. So what I said is one of the presentation, first product, pilot product, phone cases, not very exciting. Headphones, a little bit more exciting. But the other week I was talking to a company and said, hey, we make knives and we want to have the handle customized for people. We say, okay, give me the mass customized product, we add a 3D printed part to it, and we can sell knives. So there's no limitation in what we can sell.
Okay, so a big focus is that customization.
Product choice, and part of that is customization. So yes, product diversity for sure.
Okay, I like the fact that you had a slide about your team. That was great. But where's the local content, and how well do you know the markets here in Hong Kong and in China?
That's a great question. Well, we're selling in Europe and in America right now. So for us...
So when are you moving here?
Yeah, 2 to 3 years. So right now we're looking for partners here to build up, for example, to vertically integrate our supply chain here. And we're looking for local expertise to do that. I mean, I've been in Hong Kong for 5 years, but I don't have the illusion that I understand the market well. So for us, if an investor comes on board that has the distribution channels and also possibly production channels in China, that would be our, let's say, our takeoff to Asia as well. We have actually all the components in China, but we don't want to sell unless we have people on the ground.
Okay, cool. Final question. I'm going to ask you, I just want to check on how cool you really are. Do you have a OnePlus? Do you have a OnePlus 2?
It's in my, no, I have the OnePlus X, which is the newest model. X. And it's in my bag. Sorry, there it is. Look, it's true.
Okay, you're cool.
I'm even cooler than that.
Okay, you're cool. Derek, over to you. It's cool.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. That was well done. I have a few questions for you. I kind of have my, I kind of know the answer to this, but I thought it might be interesting for the audience to know as well. Why have you been operating in stealth mode up until now?
I would say semi-stealth, to be very honest. But I think the reason we're in stealth mode is that our sales channels are major retailers. And we're doing something that has never been done before in 3D printing. So the retail deal that we have is the biggest retail deal for consumer 3D printing ever done. So for us, we're doing something truly unique. We don't have something comparable. So for us, there's no point to go out and really share it that much. We share it on a very general level, but our power is not the fact that we are doing marketing for ourselves. It's the fact that my co-founder signed that retailer and other retailers come to us. So our channels are underground anyway. So we're not completely stealth, because then I would not be here and I wouldn't present, right? But when it comes to the general world, we are semi.
Okay. I don't know if it's because this is an older presentation, we don't have the most current one, but it seems like the foundation of your business rests solely on 3D printing technology. Is that correct?
That is incorrect. It is a presentation, so I understand. So our whole business is based on combining mass manufacturing and 3D printing.
Okay.
So for us, when we came into 3D printing about 3 years ago, we've been full-time for 2 years. We really saw that the quality was not good enough, so we had to fix that, and it's still today expensive. So what we do is we take the power of China, which is mass manufacturing, and combine that with the high tech of 3D printing, and then we make these mass customized products scalable. So for us, every single product we made is like sort of an 80-20 rule, where 80% of the product is mass manufactured, but standardized, and we customize it based on smaller 3D printed parts.
Okay, but if you did not have 3D printing, how would you get to an MOQ of 1?
Then you, in the specific case of phone cases, then you would do screen printing, I guess. But for the rest, there is no way to do it.
Okay. And if you didn't have 3D printing, how complex could your designs get?
If I do or I don't?
If you do or don't.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think that's
So,
I'm just trying to understand how important is 3D printing to your business, because if you're talking about MOQs, you can only do one if you have a 3D printer. Your designs can only get so complex with or without a 3D printer.
So the benefit of 3D printing is the MOQ,
Yeah.
right? And at the same time that we can create any structure. The only limitation that we have is, for example, that our structures have to be 1 millimeter by 1 millimeter thick. But we've been making back plates for our phone cases for soccer teams in Europe The back, the phone case is like this, and the soccer ball is supported like that and comes out this far.
Yeah.
So we can create any structure, and there's only one limitation, which is the thickness, and you cannot create closed objects because you need to be able to let the material come out.
Sure.
So we can create any, like right now with the diesel deal, we're making a hand that comes out this far out of the black plate just for fun to show what we can make. So we can essentially make the most ridiculous things for fun because we just print it whenever it gets ordered. So yeah.
Okay. And you talked about 16 million units across 10 different verticals.
Yes.
What are those verticals?
Where am I? Oh, here I am. Yes. So right now we're on 2 verticals, which is smartphone cases, headsets that we're working on right now. The third vertical will also be in the mobile accessory space. So probably it will be encasing of, for example, a battery. Check the guys from Nespresso are here. Technically speaking, at some point we can make a support structure for an espresso machine. So for us, I think the thing that we have learned in the last 2-3 years of running our company, that the customer is everything. So for us, what we do is that we had to launch a product to start and show that we could do this. So what we do right now is that we talk to companies like Amazon, like that other one that I can't say, and we say to them, hey guys, what do you want to have and what do you think will sell, right? You're doing $695 million in revenue a year, so maybe you should tell us because I think you know better than we do. So for us, that is the key, and then we find producers that match that.
Okay. And then my last question is you have your team there with their relevant experiences. It seems like you all have different I guess knowledge bases that you bring to the table to help grow your business. And one of the ones that I found particularly interesting is your CTO, who seems to have a lot of experience in the startup world. Can you elaborate on what he brings to the table?
Well, I mean, he is a developer who lives in Silicon Valley, and he was super excited to join up with us, and that was very exciting for us as well. And so his experience, he's been developing products, like digital products, for over 20 years. So for example, there's a company called Mashable, which is a very famous company in the US. He was the founding CTO of that company. So if I would stand here and explain what kind of experience he has, we probably have to get some coffee, sit down, and I can keep talking for a while because it's endless. So he's one of those, when we were in 500 startups, I told our mentors there that we signed Clay, and they were like, sorry for my cursing, holy shit, this guy is amazing, he can build anything. So that's, yeah, so that I think is an answer to your question probably.
Okay, and then are all of you full-time?
Yes.
Including Clay?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, going back for the presentation, I always like a company that has revenue and is making money. And you're making not just money, you're making a lot of money. So what kind of money I ask you for right now, and what are you going to put it to use for?
So what I'd rather say how much money we're raising when I talk to somebody in person, because I think it's very private. But for us, 87% of our investment goes to staffing, right? For us right now, especially also because we're talking about China and investors from China. I was talking just to a young man from CDU, actually, we were talking about developers in China as well. It was very interesting. So for us as well, it will go primarily into development because our product is software. So 87% will be developers, and the rest will probably be marketing, sales, and some QC to cover the different verticals. To answer your question.
Okay. There's a few things actually. I like that you're having good revenue coming in. The thing is, you've got so many big companies signed up already. Are you talking to the marketing departments, or are you talking to the product development people, or the factory manufacturing people?
You mean from our clients?
Yes.
We're usually, I would say what we are talking to is like skunkworks, like innovation labs of those companies. So I mean, the partnerships that were up there, they're assigned, right? So they're not like we're just talking to people.
Right.
So usually retailers come up to us and it's like blah blah blah's innovation lab, and they say, hey, we see your product, and they want to champion it within their company.
Right.
And also one thing I think is really important to state is that obviously You know, like if I say the smaller names, I can say some European retailers who mean nothing to you. But for us, our goal, when I talk about 600 retailers, is that 60% of those retailers are actually smaller retailers, 30% are medium size, and only 10% is the really large ones. Because you don't want to be dependent on an Amazon or a XXX, because they, you know, like you want to have a balanced revenue stream coming in. So we've really balanced that across these different levels.
Because that ties into one of the concerns that I have is if you're relying just solely on 3D printing, any of these guys around here can buy a 3D printer themselves and then they just do it themselves. So one of the things is how soon or how easy it is for us to, or the manufacturers or the partners that you have already can kick you out as soon as possible. So that's my
I'm sure they'll try. So the question is first of all, we're not relying just on 3D printing. Secondly, we're not a 3D printing company. So that's just what I want to state up front. So why is our company defensible? Which is the most important question, right? So what we have done is we have accumulated experience within all these different sectors for over 20, 30 years altogether, right? So our software infrastructure that we have right now, the DNA of the software is completely based on all these experience that we have. So we have people that are specialized in mass manufacturing, 3D printing, retail sales, and networking here, how to get things out of factories, how to customize, right? So any company in China can come up and say, hey, we have a 3D printer, which costs $1.2 million, by the way. So I know there are investors here, but I will not tell you to put that in your house because it's very big and pretty expensive.
Some are very cheap.
But the quality is, with all due respect for somebody I might hurt the feeling, is the quality is crap. So
you better talk to Jane later on.
Well, we can sit down together and have some tea, it's great. But we use industrial printers only. So the ones that are about this size. So not the home printers.
We have a company like that.
Yeah, well then we should talk definitely over tea, it's great. But the core competency is that like a 3D printing company can say, hey, you know, we can make 3D printed objects, but can you build software? Can you build with Chinese manufacturers? Can you distribute your product globally? Nobody can. And our software, the DNA of the software is based on real life experience in the field. Anybody can build a 3D model software, but making this at the quality level that we have, you'll right now find nobody, and by the time you find people, we have 50 to 200 retail channels that we're distributing through, so good luck.
Okay, thank you. I've got a company I'm looking after right now. They do design packs as well, so maybe later on I can introduce you to them.
We can also have tea after this, so
Sure.
2 teas.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jing for the 1 minute investor. Thank you, Jing. Please welcome Jing as well.
I briefly introduce myself. My name is Jing Liang. I actually born and raised in China, and I got my electrical engineering degree from Tsinghua, and then went to Sudan for my master's. Then later on I went to US for my PhD, but I didn't finish it. I worked in technology for a few years and worked at the startups that doing cell phone chip design. Later on went to Intel to like Centrino chipset design and quality. And 2006 I felt bored with technology and doing technology, so I went to B school and got my MBA from Michigan. After that I changed my career to investment banking and started in US, then came to Hong Kong, and about 2013 I decided to do my own business. Started with trying to build a fundraising platform for startups, and having been doing that ever since. But in the process, I went through a lot of different bumps and a lot of lessons learned. And today I basically wanted to share with everybody is just for early stage companies. I think the most important thing. A lot of them actually is not about what you want to do. Of course, having a clear idea what you want to do, what kind of value you bring to the table is very important. But look at all the great companies.